welcome to my International Dimensions short film for my Education Studies Module 325. This short film was inspired by and created in response to the film Schooling the World. Syria has been an area of conflict for nearly 10 years now. Currently, Syria is a country devastated by its civil war and civilians are being traumatized. READ 2020 suggests that over half the people impacted are children, and UNICEF 2020 report that Syria is one of the most dangerous places to be a child. This short film will explore the impacts of this civil war on the education of its nation's children, and how meeting the basic needs of these children could support their education. UNICEF 2019 reports a total of 8 million children impacted, with estimates of 2.6 million children internally displaced and over 2.5 million registered as refugees outside of Syria. Nearly 10,000 of these children are separated or unaccompanied, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation as they do not possess documentation. Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests in order to succeed, self-actualize and be our best selves, we must have our physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging needs and esteem needs met first. Maslow indicates these needs must be met in order, each forming a foundation for the next. Physiological needs are biological necessities, without which the body cannot function. These include air, water, food, shelter, sleep and clothing. However, reports on the use of chemical weapons imply an unsafe access to air. The UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA 2017, reports 14.6 million require safe access to water, 10.5 million need food and nutrition, and 4.2 million individuals still need shelter. Those who have shelter have unsanitary living conditions and experience overcrowding.
This suggests the physiological needs of children in Syria are not being met. Safety needs refer to an individual's need for security. Maslow suggests humans desire order and control in life. He suggests these needs are normally fulfilled by family and wider society, such as the police, school, the economy, and healthcare. It is clear children are not safe in Syria. Between 2014 and 2019, UNICEF reports nearly one child every 10 hours died as a result of the conflict. The BBC 2016 reports President Assad's regime is attacking its civilians, withholding basic necessities and using their suffering as a method of war. This suggests structures which would normally protect children are malfunctioning. OCHA 2017 also reports 83% of Syrian individuals are living below the poverty line. Therefore, many families do not have security in money. Additionally, OCHA 2017 reports as a result of the crisis, 46% of Syrian hospitals and healthcare facilities are either partly functional or not functional. This suggests Syrian children's safety needs are not being met.
Love and belonging needs include the requirements for relationships and a desire to belong within a family and wider society. These needs are usually met by friendships, intimacy, and family, which provide a sense of connection. Families have been fragmented, with UNICEF 2019 reporting 10,000 separated or unaccompanied children, and READ 2020 reporting many children experiencing a loss as a result of war. Fortunate children who remain with family members are still likely to experience unmet love and belonging needs. As UNICEF reports, 5.1 million children are displaced, hence they have been uprooted from their village and moved away from their life and the people they once knew. Bronfenbrenner suggests to support an ideal learning environment, there must be communication between all immediate surroundings, known as the mesosystem, but for these children their mesosystem is gone, distributed across Syria and other countries accepting refugees. Furthermore, Lowcock and Lee 2014 reports many refugees experience discrimination, prejudice and marginalisation in their placement countries, suggesting refugee children may be made to feel unwelcome in their host country, giving them yet another obstacle to overcome. Bojan and Reed 2020 suggests tensions are increasing between Syrian refugees and their host country, such as Jordan and Lebanon, as refugees are observed to have placed pressure on infrastructure and services. Therefore, for many Syrian children, their love and belonging needs have been disrupted. This may also imply esteem needs such as respect, self-esteem and self-confidence are not met, as Syrian refugees experience hostilities from locals and internally displaced individuals suffer neglect. Additionally, Sakragul and Belger 2019 report mass xenophobia towards Syrians. Rogers 1951 would argue this lack of positive regard would negatively impact Syrian children's self-worth. Hence, Maslow's theory would suggest Syrian children may not be able to learn and self-actualize as a consequence of this conflict. Furthermore, schools within Syria have and are being attacked and overruled for military use, with UNICEF reporting 2 in every 5 schools damaged or destroyed. Therefore, 1/3 of Syria's children are out of school. This accounts for over 2 million children, with a further 1.3 million at risk of dropping out. Whilst prospects are better for refugee children, neighbouring countries are reporting a strain on social provision. However, Kurdar 2017 states many Syrian children will receive an education in the form of socialisation or a family member teaching them a trade. This is informal education and could lead to child exploitation. For example, children could be taught to fight in the war, to work from a young age, and to value exploitative practices like child marriage. OCHA 2017 reports children as young as 12 involved in active combat. Additionally, Tiltonus, Zhang and Persson 2018 report more occurrences of child marriages as families struggle financially. 3% of 15-year-old girls in Syria were married before the war. Now this figure has risen to 14%. Despite Maslow's theory, suggesting it is unlikely children can learn in these situations, charities such as UNICEF continue to provide an education to Syrian children. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, 1948, formed the basis of UNICEF's work, and Article 28 of this document states, "Every child has the right to an education."
But this is not the only right the children of Syria are not receiving. The facts discussed previously would suggest these rights are not upheld. Therefore, UNICEF looks to meet the basic needs of the child first and ensure their rights are upheld. In 2017, UNICEF provided 14.6 million people with water and sanitation by operating and maintaining these systems, preventing waterborne diseases such as cholera. In 2018, 3.3 million people were supported by UNICEF's nutrition interventions. Also in 2018, UNICEF provided over 812,000 children with seasonal clothes and blankets to combat extreme weather. In relation to Maslow, this would be UNICEF meeting these individuals' physiological needs of water, nutrition and clothing. Furthermore, UNICEF works to ensure the availability of emergency healthcare and child interventions, such as vaccines. This is meeting Syrian children's safety needs. UNICEF also provides safe spaces for children to play and relax and enjoy their childhood. Here children can form friendships and bonds, meeting their love and belonging needs. Finally, UNICEF strives to uphold children's rights to an education by working with governments, communities and parents to provide textbooks, classroom kits and set up child-friendly spaces in conflict areas like Syria, to ensure children still have access to a formal education. In 2016 alone, UNICEF provided 15.7 million children worldwide with school books and learning materials, and in 2019 provided 310,000 children with formal education.
However, the inspiration for this video, the film Schooling the World, raises issues with charities and agencies external to the country providing education. Similarly, Bush and Saltarelli 2000, on behalf of UNICEF, question the norms and values taught to children during conflicts, questioning their suitability for the growth of the individual, their village and country. They suggest that education in this form can often be used as cultural repression, a weapon of war, and as manipulation of events and self-worth. UNICEF acknowledged the importance of education, not only for the children but for their country. Thus, in 2020, UNICEF plans to increase its focus on adolescents and young people through cross-sectorial services, life skills programs, vocational education, and entrepreneurship training. Additionally, UNICEF do aim to provide lessons relevant to the children's community. For example, UNICEF's 2020 programme targets include enrolling 24 million children in mine risk education. Maslow would suggest that to educate Syrian children, we must meet their basic needs first. This is what UNICEF is doing. However, evidence of UNICEF's success doesn't exist and would be hard and potentially immoral to investigate, as it would mean withholding necessities from some children. Therefore, as Wattenberg, Frick and King suggest, we must try to educate the children of Syria, as they will play a crucial part in rebuilding the country once this war comes to an end. This is all UNICEF can do. Try.